So now let us look at more structural details of vestibular apparatus. Now you know that it is the membranous labyrinth, as you have seen in the previous video, and it is going to help in posture and equilibrium, right? Do you remember how the diagram was for vestibular apparatus? So let's draw it and see. So you should have one anterior semicircular canal, then you need to have a posterior semicircular canal, and you need to have one lateral canal. Okay, now these canals have two ends, right? One end will be narrow, the other end will be bulged, as you can see here. Fine. Now, how many canals are there? You have 3 canals. This is going to be your anterior canal. This is going to be vertical in position. This one is going to be the posterior. That is also vertical. Fine. Posterior is also vertical. And then you have a lateral one, which is horizontal when you actually bend forward. Okay, not all the time horizontal, but horizontal when you bend forward. Your head, if you tilt forward to an angle of 30 degree, you will have it to be horizontal. Now these semicircular canals represent the 3 axes of rotation: the vertical axis, the transverse axis, and the antero-posterior axis. Definitely, right? You can move your head vertically up, down, anterior, posterior, and you can also move it transverse. Correct? So it represents the 3 axes of rotation. Fine. Now let us move on to the other things. So the vestibular apparatus actually has 3 semicircular canals, and it has one vestibule. Okay, this vestibule is also called as otolith organ. Fine. So what does the vestibular apparatus contain? 3 semicircular canals and vestibule. Now you saw the 3 semicircular canals, right? And now we will show you the vestibule. But before that, just note that the 3 semicircular canals has one receptor, okay, or a receptor in each of them. They are called as the crista ampullaris. Crista ampullaris is the receptor. This is the one that will finally do the work for you. Remember, crista ampullaris is there in the semicircular canals, and in the vestibule you have the macula, which is the receptor. So these are all what type of receptors? Proprioceptors for position, for posture and equilibrium. So which are the 2 receptor organs in vestibular apparatus? In the semicircular canals, actually in the ampulla of the semicircular canals, you have the crista ampullaris, and in the vestibule, you will have the macula. Fine. Now look at the diagram. These are the 3 semicircular canals that you have already read. Can you see the bulged portion here? See, each of the semicircular canal, one end is narrow, the other end is bulged. The bulged end is called ampulla, and that will have your receptor, crista ampullaris. Fine. Good. Now, these ampulla open into utricle, and utricle opens into saccula. The utricle and saccula together are called as the otolith organ or vestibule. You can pronounce it differently: otolith organ, vestibule, however you want. Now, remember, this one, otolith organ vestibule, has its own receptor, that is macula. So the receptor organ in vestibule is macula. The receptor organ in the semicircular canal, crista ampullaris. This entire thing, that is the vestibule plus these 3 semicircular canals, form the vestibular apparatus. The vestibular apparatus plus the cochlea, which we have not shown here, will form your membranous labyrinth. Very good. Just to give you some more details on these, crista ampullaris will have type 1 and type 2 hair cells. Even macula will have type 1 and type 2 hair cells. So these will have hair cells, type 1 and type 2. Even macula will have hair cells, type 1 and type 2. Fine. Now how many macula will be there? There will be 2 macula, one in the utricle and one in the sacula. How many crista ampullaris will be there? 3. Because in each ampulla you will have one crista ampullaris. So let's revise. See, membranous labyrinth has vestibular apparatus and cochlea. Vestibular apparatus has 3 semicircular canals and 1 vestibule. In the 3 semicircular canals, you have 3 crista ampullaris, right? It is the receptor organ. In the vestibule, you have macula as the receptor organ. There are type 1 and type 2 hair cells in both of these, okay?